So I know that both of you have kind of been like joking about like, being really negative about the project, but I have seen whenever I look up anything about ReactOS, you're always gonna run into these posts like ReactOS sucks, ReactOS is terrible. Like it's not just joking about it; it's people that genuinely seem to like dislike the existence of the project, and I don't really get it. I can kind of get the developers, they're working on something, we're moving target. We kind of got onto that before, but why do you think there is this sort of dislike of the project in some sense? You don't really get from many of like you don't really see that in like the BSD space. You don't see it really much with Linux. That yeah, you get a bit of it from like Windows gamers for Linux, but it's not really the popular discourse about it.
I think there's a lot of people that really like um, just really like Linux, Unix. It's been an issue really ever since the 1970s with the Unix community. That there's kind of there's like a Unix cult, and they you can read. I don't know if you ever read the Unix Haters Handbook. It's
No,
on
I need
MIT's
to though.
list.
It's been on my reading list for a
Yeah,
while.
it's a really good read. Um, but it's just I don't know. They they really like Unix. You bring up issues to them, legitimate issues that people have, and they kind of dismiss it. And I think unfortunately, um, the Linux community kind of inherited some of that with the Unix community, and it brings some toxicity that I don't like. I don't want to like just totally bash
No, no,
Linux here.
understandable,
It's
understandable.
community, but that's one other thing that I really like about ReactOS is our community. I think um, we're not we're not demanding that everybody use ReactOS for everything. Um, but I'm not great with wording things,
No,
but
no.
it's
I I think within the ReactOS community, everyone who's using it, everyone who's developing it, kind of understands the state things are in. So you're not
mhm,
in this position where it's, almost there. Like with Linux, a lot of the barriers are more, it's less the backend stuff, it's more sort of interest from companies bringing software over. So it's most of the way there, which means that a lot of those. Oh, how do. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm struggling with words as well. I think because it's so polished in that way, the the gaps are a lot easier to sort of focus on. Whereas with ReactOS, because it is still targeting such an old version of Windows, and there's obviously modern stuff being brought in as well, but you can't sort of gaslight yourself into thinking that this is directly competing with Windows 11.
yeah, it's not
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 yet.
yet.
Soon.
I also think that some of it isn't even just the Linux community that like hates Ross.
Mm.
I've reached out and seen a lot of, especially the last 2 years. I've reached out to a lot of people that Ross kind of burned. I feel like, especially on YouTube, you watch a lot of videos about ReactOS, and a lot of them just didn't go the way they wanted it to.
Right, right.
And then you look at the comments, and everyone's just like, "But you didn't try the nightly or something." And sometimes it feels like parts of Ross also has like a little bit of that Linux attitude
Mm.
where although we like internally to joke that we and acknowledge our like flaws as an operating system, there are people sometimes reaching out for us that are actively defending us
Right.
to the point where I think it bashes each other. I've reached out to a couple people now that have just ROS completely failed and tried to understand what parts of it failed. Because again, some of these issues that people run into too are things that we don't even aren't even able to reproduce. And there hasn't been there's not a lot of avenues for people to take that frustration and put it in front of our eyes. For instance, you've talked about how you wanted to have a ReactOS person on here, and the only way you even found out about like us communicate with each other was somebody else jumping to another stream to come to you. And
yeah, somebody in my chat was like, "Hey, there's a ReactOS dev over here doing ReactOS stuff." Like, oh, that's cool, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it like this: if there wasn't the channel of communication Linux has for things, you would also get frustrated with Linux and just give up.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think a lot of our failures too have been our communication with the general public. There's ideas about ROS that make no sense in the public eye, like the country of origin. It just jumps around different like ideas sometimes. Like one week it's Russian, then one week it's German, and I'm like, I didn't know I was either of those things. but like
I did see some like
that frustration.
On that note, I did see some. I don't even know what the context was. Someone's like, Putin loves ReactOS. Like, I don't. Is there some context here that I'm missing?
I wish he loved ReactOS. You know, then maybe we would have had some funding.
Don't say that.
Maybe cut that out.
You were looking for YouTube poop stuff. There you go, right there.
He's gonna put in the part. He's a Putin lover.
So you know what? That actually does have some context. There is a photo that goes around of like a developer that's not on the team even like around anymore, like showing it to Putin in like 2008 or something.
Right. Okay.
A long time ago. A long time ago. And so what it was, part of that context comes from the ReactOS that the ReactOS that exists now isn't the ReactOS that existed back then. There's a ReactOS Foundation,
right,
which is dead. And those are the people who showed it to Putin and such. And then there's ReactOS. I don't know how to say the word GmbH. I don't the German word it is or whatever it is.
Yeah,
called.
The German Foundation thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that now, which is entirely different and not even the same management. So there is some context to that makes complete sense, but it's not talking about what the project is now or any of the same people. So we just kind of shrug. There
actually is. I went and had a look. There actually is a blog post on the ReactOS website from 2012. ReactOS presented to President Putin. So yeah, there is. So what you're saying is like there's been like a lot of churn of developers over the years.
Yep.
Because the project originally, like going to the 30 years of ReactOS thing, the project originally came out of another project, or was it had a different name? What exactly was that? I'm forgetting exactly what was said there.
So FreeWin95, according to, I wasn't alive.
Me neither.
I was born in 1998.
Oh, you're 98 as well.
But so from what Eric Cole told me is that they wanted a perfect clone of Windows 95. And they spent all their time arguing in the planning stages about what they should do. And there was little to no code actually written. And so Jason Philby, he was in this mailing list, and he was like, you know what, everyone that's in here is interested in a project like this. Let's start what would become ReactOS. And so that's how that got started. There's I want to say on our wiki there's like a constitution or something for FreeWin95. You can look on reactos.org/wiki and look up FreeWin95. But that's really all the information I have about it.
Right,
There's a
right.
constitution. I didn't even know that.
Let's
That's
see.
funny.
3195. Let's see if we can find it.
I've worn many hats in ReactOS. You know, now I'm also ReactOS historian now, apparently.
Cool.
My latest.
No, that I think that is cool. Like, it's I like knowing the history of a project, even if it's not really relevant to what it's doing today. I am always kind of curious how something got started, how it progressed from those early days, and yeah, I'm glad somebody's trying to keep the history around, especially for early or pre-internet projects. A lot of that stuff, there's a sort of bits and pieces here and there. Some projects are better archived than others. Obviously, you know, going back to it, the entire early Linux mailing list is all archived. But for a lot of other projects out there, unless there are people who are still working on the project, who were working on it back then, you know, like Daniel Stenberg, who's still the lead developer of curl, a lot of the time that early stuff is just entirely forgotten.